This year's Monster Pods are brought to you by the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge and our friends over at twinspires.com. The KDBC is back this year with a guaranteed $250,000 purse. Head over to twinspires.com today, click the tournaments tab, and get all the information you need on how to buy in or qualify for horse racing's newest major tournament. We move on to a horse who, at the time of recording, is not officially in this year's Kentucky Derby field, but I always like to cover those first few, maybe even more than first few, also eligibles, because once in a while, I wake up in a cold sweat at night and think about Rich Strike to this day. Thomas Fornatale back with you. Happy to welcome back to the show a man who's been on these airwaves many, many times, and we always love to hear from him, Kevin Kilroy. KK, what's going on?
Pete, Derby horses are in my dreams. That's what I'm waking up thinking about. I can barely sleep. I lay down and my head's just clicking over so much. So it's just a beautiful time of year, getting things going on the backside, seeing the energy start to bubble up. And did the first morning work show today. So it's on, baby. It's on.
I want to talk to you before we get out of here about that morning work show where people can get that info. Also, we'll try to get you back on here to the In the Money Media YouTube channel week of to get your takes on some of the best works that you've seen along the way. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel so you don't miss any of that In the Money exclusive content. Those listening, this will be lost on. But if you're watching, you'll see in the background, Kevin, one of a few people in racing who has a better hat collection than me, and it's on display there. Very impressive.
I don't know if it's better than you, but I've got a few. I kind of like the same style. Give me that stingy brim if you ever see one.
Yeah,
good.
I'm a thin brim guy myself. I wanted to ask you about Chip Honcho. He's the horse that this video is nominally about. Give me a little bit of an overview of this horse, where he's been and how he's coming in here.
Yeah, he looked okay. So he ran in all our Derby preps down at Fairgrounds, right? And he looked like a really nice Steve Asmussen trained, slowly unlocked forward horse, similar to Track Phantom, similar to Epicenter. He's built more like Epicenter. He's a bigger guy. He really is a big machine, which I think is something you could put in his pro column. He looked great in the Gun Runner. Didn't back it up very well in terms of the Risen Star and the Lecomte. And the Louisiana Derby is when the confidence for me faded in him. I mean, looking at his form pattern going into the Louisiana Derby, he could have been anything. He could have moved forward from that. It was a nice forward progression in the Risen Star in terms of the figures. Maybe some minor excuses in the Louisiana Derby. Luis Saez decided not to be caught wide in that first turn, rated him behind, but then came back out and, was kind of chasing on the outside as the pace did heat up. He looked like a threat in the turn. Lane pinched by Emerging Market. He just flattened out. He just showed no gamesmanship. I just didn't think that he showed that heart that you want to see. So there's a little bit of a distance question. There's just a little bit of how savvy of a racehorse is he? Can he handle that sort of trip that he will get in the Derby? I'm doubting him in terms of those aspects. If you wanted to play pro, pace scenario, if he's able to get forward, that would be something for him. But he just has been one that I think he regressed too much in that Louisiana Derby to trust in his next race.
I hear what you're saying about the distance questions. On the blood, you'd think it might be okay, but the visual impression he gives in the races. I'll tell you this, wouldn't it be something after all the runners that Steve Asmussen has had in this Kentucky Derby, something he's obviously must covet, and despite all the success he's had, it remains elusive. Be something else if he did it with a big long shot like this, huh?
It really would. It would be a testament to him. And, all this being said, he is a big horse. And, maybe not a stop-start horse, really just does need to be sort of forward and one-dimensional. And that does give him a better look. And when Luis Saez, when he got off of him, when he rode him the first time in the Risen Star, he was very excited to come back and ride in the Louisiana Derby. He had no doubt that he could get the distance. He really felt that he had more horse coming through the wire. He just came up flat. So regression, bounce, etc., needs to have things his own way. Those are hard sort of pills to swallow unless you're getting 60-1. I just don't think you will get that good of a price on a Steve Asmussen trade.
Right. That's the Asmussen factor cuts both ways. Let's talk about the work that you're doing out there in the mornings. Where can people see you?
Yeah. If you get on the at Kentucky Derby, X, YouTube, Facebook channels, you'll find us doing the morning work show, 6:45 a.m. every day. getting out there. We're going over the fields, going over what we've been seeing, as well as highlighting that Derby Oaks special work period from 7:15 to 7:30, where you get to see just those runners out on the track. And it's great. You get to know these horses. You get to see their energy. You get to see how they're moving. Are they coming into their best race of their career? Are they holding form? All those sort of things. So we're giving you our best thoughts and our best look at all that. So tune in, and you can always find it if you can't get it live on YouTube. So look for it there.
Great rundown of the possible options. That's going to be must-see TV for these next 15 days as we record now between here and the Derby. Chip Honcho horse maybe starts touting himself in the morning. Maybe we have another conversation in a couple weeks' time. But Kevin, we'll leave it here for now. Really appreciate you coming on here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Pete.
Please subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel. We know from our own numbers that most of you watching right now are not subscribed, and we'd love to change that. We're making our big Derby season push towards 15,000 subscribers, and subscribing really helps us out. And make sure you do not miss a single piece of our YouTube exclusive Kentucky Derby content.